have to cut you off. Awesome.
So I will pass it to Georgette to talk about our solution, what we are, what we do.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Corinne. And again, welcome everyone. So probably the reason why many of you are here today is to learn a little bit about what is Flowcode and what differentiates Flowcode from those standard QR codes that you've probably seen out in the world today. And the very, very first kind of bullet point that we like to call out, I think it's the most obvious, is our design. At Flowcode, we lead with design. You'll see a bevy of beautifully designed codes throughout this presentation, and all of those codes are carefully handcrafted in-house by a team of in-house designers. And basically what they'll do is they'll take all of your brand guidelines, your hex colors, logos, any shapes, anything that you'd like us to consider in order to add your code into your marketing and therefore elevate it. So that is number one. Next, all of our codes are dynamic. This means that your code can be changed at any time. If your website changes, if your social media handle updates, or maybe you just have a different marketing objective at the time, you can absolutely go ahead and change that destination in real time in the platform, and it will update right away. And then all of our codes are backed through real-time data, analytics, and reporting as well. So when you get a scan on your Flowcode, this data will populate right away in the platform. You can access it on your phone, and you can see real-time engagement, of what time individuals are engaging with your content, where they are in the world. We'll talk a little more about analytics in the presentation, but data is a really kind of big factor for us. And then, of course, privacy. We are the most privacy compliant QR code on the market. We are GDPR and CCPA compliant. This means that when a user scans a flow code or consumer scans a code, we do not collect things like their first name, last name, email, their address or anything like that. So you do have a level of insurance when you're scanning a flow code, knowing that your data is safe and secure. We will talk a little bit about how you can capture first-party data safely using Flowcode, specifically Flowpage, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. All of our codes are patent protected, so meaning, our circular design, owned by us. All of our designs are patent protected and quality assured. They go through a rigorous quality assurance process to make sure that they scan beautifully when you put them out into your marketing and out into the world. And then Flowpage. So this is what I meant just before about collecting first-party data. We can go to the next slide, but this is our sister product. This is a mobile optimized landing page solution included with all of Flowcode's plans from basic all the way up to enterprise. And you can really make a beautiful custom page that is an extension of your brand. It can replace the need for business cards, which we'll talk a little bit about later. You can attach things like a third-party pixel, so you can actually track, and retarget who's landing on this page and retarget them through Facebook ads. Collecting contact information on this page is key. You'll see here in the little GIF with 3 wishes, they have a little pop-up, and you can add things like your name, phone number, email, and that customer can opt in to kind of into your customer database and stay in the know with you. And then most importantly, this is a completely no-code platform. So whether, no matter where you are in your stage of technology, you can use Flowpage easily. You can make this page in under 60 seconds. It is super easy. And we even have templated designs where you can just make a page from a template as well. So there really is a ton you can do with Flowpage. And it really pairs well with Flowcode as well. So that's just a little bit about about Flowpage. You can go to the next slide. And then tying the suite all together. So there's Flowcode. Flowcode, again, is the QR code, our best-in-class technology with beautiful custom designs, ultra-fast scanning. Again, they are dynamic, so you can change them at any time. And of course, privacy compliant. And then you can have a Flowcode scan to this beautifully elevated experience known as the Flowpage again. But I do like to call out here that a flow page can also be accessed through a link in bio, so you don't only have to access a flow page via a flow code as well. But all of these two products tied together kind of make for a beautiful suite with our data and analytics. You can now track how many scans your flow code is getting, how many clicks or how many sessions your flow page is getting as well. And you can measure traffic and engagement directly in the platform. So really creates a nice synergy between the two. And I'll pass it over to Corinne to talk a little bit about use cases and how you can actually implement our technology in your marketing.
Great. Thanks, Georgette. So now that we've talked about what products we offer, here are some of the ways that you can actually implement it within your daily practices. So as Georgette touched on, that CRM collection is a big one. CRM actually means customer relationship management. So it's about collecting that information to contact your customers and then being able to nurture them, add them to your email campaigns, and ensure that they're engaging with your brand, with your products or services. So even though we are privacy compliant, you can still collect that information and get it voluntarily. Next, you have on-screen integration. So while a lot of people think that, I'm just going to put my flow code on this brochure or a flyer, you can also integrate it on screen, which is really great because let's say I'm running a donation campaign and I want people to call a phone number or type in a URL. People are inherently lazy, so having the ability to scan to that phone number or that URL so that they can seamlessly donate is really great because it eliminates that work that they have to put in and just, again, makes it as effortless as possible, which I always think is great. Next, digitizing printed materials, so important, especially as we are getting more into technology and, you weren't able to track the engagement on printed materials before, but now you can really create experiences that, first of all, integrate technology so you can have your Web3, AR, or augmented reality experiences, and just make things more engaging rather than just having printed materials with some information and education. You can really make those immersive experiences and then again track that engagement with our data and analytics, which we'll go into later. Next, contactless payments. So you can use Flowcode at your checkout or at your register, just for people to seamlessly check out, pay you, especially if people don't have their wallet on them, and you might not have the tap capabilities for Apple Pay. So allowing people to check out just via their phone, very easy. Again, creating the as effortless processes as possible. And last but not least, omni-channel connection. So especially as we get into the new age of technology and all these different platforms, it's important to have a cohesive experience through all of them. And Flowcode allows you to attach codes to each piece of marketing materials or engagement materials so that you can create the same experience at those different touch points and funnel everyone into your product, your ecosystem of sorts. And we'll just show you a few ways of where you can put flow codes on. Honestly, you can put them anywhere, but here are some holiday inspired and just everyday inspired ideas. So you can see that gift wrapping is a big one. You can put them on wrapping paper. Georgette actually did this for one of our events in the office, which was awesome. People can scan that and engage with it. Maybe there's a little treat on the inside. You can also put them in thank you slips, stickers, gift tags. You can see here just an everyday retail tag is also a great idea so that people can see maybe more information about how the product was actually made, the sizing information, what might fit them best, etc. Direct mail is also another big one. It allows you to see who's actually engaging, especially if you create unique codes for each of those. We have an API that allows you to create thousands of unique codes, so you can send them to an holiday brain, an individual household level so that you can see who's actually opening them and the intent on that end. Storefronts, so window displays, we know how important those are, and really engaging people as they're walking by, not just showing them your products, but allowing them to maybe give them a discount for coming in store or something to incentivize that foot traffic to come inside. Next, as I mentioned, front desk, register, checkout area. This is great if you want to incentivize like positive reviews or again, just engagement on your socials. We know how important growing that following is for you. So having the ability to engage with your brand right then and there. Maybe they're waiting for you to ring up everything and don't have anything to do in that moment. So having that engaging QR code or flow code right there will allow them to occupy themselves and again, just engage with your brand on a deeper level. Next, this is really for our QSR and restaurants. We know how big takeout is, so you can include flow codes on your takeout packaging to incentivize positive reviews, or even your receipts, which is a little bit farther down, but again, just providing people the opportunity to give back. We know how important those positive reviews are, especially around the holidays. So this just makes it easier for people to do that. And sometimes people forget. So having that call out is really important. Next is signage outside your office or your store. Again, similar to window displays, this allows you to redirect that traffic and also engage people who might otherwise be looking straight forward or not paying attention to their surroundings. And this way you can engage them and direct them inside. And then lastly, holiday cards, which again are seasonal, but a great way to have your customers or potential customers interact. And what to use flow codes for, Georgette, if you want to hop in at all here, just again, those positive reviews, I think are really important. Allowing guests to RSVP for events if you're holding any in your office or retail space, encouraging customers to sign up for your newsletter. That's a great call out for our CRM or contact collection widget on Flowpage. And it just allows you to collect that information and then add them to your future marketing. And I can pass it off to Georgette just to talk a little bit about more use cases for Flowcode.
Perfect. And I know there's a bunch of questions actually coming into the Q&A, which is amazing. We're going to address everything, and there's a complete Q&A section at the very end. So promise, I actually just read all of the Q&As that just came in, and I'm going to try to address them as we go through the upcoming slides. But I promise we're going to address them specifically towards the end. So just hold out. We're almost done. But yeah, no, I mean, those are excellent use cases, Corinne. I think I would just add that the value add overall, no matter where you are in your journey or what industry you're in, is the data piece, which we'll talk about. Obviously engaging with your customers, collecting customer information, and keeping people engaged, all the time, and also just measuring the success of your marketing. We spend so much money, and I think you'll talk a little bit about this, in just out of home marketing, print marketing, and we have no idea on the return for those campaigns. And this is the very first time where you can see a return. Another great example that I see for those who are in retail are they invest a lot in magazine advertisements. And in my previous role, we never had a way to measure, who's engaging with this, or did it drive sales? And they cost a pretty penny to put them in those magazines. So just another tidbit there. But no, you hit the nail on the head, I think, with it all.
Yeah, thank you. And even when you were saying that, I think hiring is another great use case, especially for retail or anyone in any industry, but really having people scan to apply, see all the open positions that you have is really, really important. Going into Flowpage and how you can leverage it. Just some examples here on the right. You can see, you can design it and customize it to your heart's content to have it align with your brand. And as Georgette said, there's no coding or HTML needed for this. You just need to say add link, or explore links, and it makes it very easy to just add in titles, icons, featured images, etc. We do have a recording of our how to build a flow page and customization webinar that we did earlier this month on YouTube. So in our follow-up, we'll link out to that playlist, but you can always just access it in YouTube through our profile. going through some things here, event schedule and signups for registration. So again, just having that RSVP functionality built out here. You can showcase seasonal promotions and discount codes, donations. You can digitize your holiday gift drive, highlight reels or videos. So you can embed these right in the page itself. You can see here on the right, just showcases your brand and a little bit more personality to it, just to, again, allow your customers to again, this holiday brain is you all.
I think all in all, it just adds a lot more customizability to the page ultimately.
And allows you different avenues to engage your audience. So with a website, might be a little bit confusing because there are so many different things that you can choose from. But here you really have maybe 5, 6, you can do as many as you want, but having those pointed actions that you want your customers to take is really important, because we had so many people saying, I want to send people to my website, but I also want to showcase one of my products and also my socials. So this is a way to display all of that information. And again, you can see what things people are interacting with our data and analytics. So then you can say, all right, they're really interested in our Instagram. How can we curate our content on our Instagram to be the most engaging? Things like that give you insights as to the behaviors of your audience, I think is great.
Awesome.
And just Flowcode out of home, Georgette, I know you touched on this briefly, but being able to measure the effectiveness of each different medium for marketing is so important, because you're really able to see where your budget should be allocated, especially with the upcoming year. Maybe you're investing a lot in TV codes, but you're seeing more engagement on your magazine code. So really being strategic in how you're spending, and Flowcode gives you an insight into this. So I think that's one of the biggest takeaways here, is you're not only providing a better experience for your customer, you're also being able to see how it's impacting them and how it's positively relating to your business. And really, there's nowhere you can't put a flow code. Here are just some flow codes in the wild that our team has spotted. And that just means flow codes in the everyday. They're everywhere you go now, which is very exciting. But again, it just creates that seamless experience that people want in the real world. And I will pass it over to Georgette to talk a little bit more about additional features.
Awesome. Thanks, Corinne. And I think this will answer some of the questions in the chat. But at Flowcodes, so depending on what plan you're on, we'll kind of unlock some advanced features. And I know there was some interest in the comments, but one of the very first features that we like to talk about is something called Smart Rules. And it's actually an ever developing tool right now. It's going to kind of get better and better as the platform improves. So Smart Rules allows you to redirect a single flow code to multiple locations, and this is completely different than a flow page, right? Because a flow code can link to a flow page that has multiple destinations for a customer to choose from. This is a little bit smarter in the sense of the flow code can actually detect what device type the user is scanning from and ultimately redirect them to the correct app store. That's one example. Or a flow code can detect the day of the week or the time of day that a user is scanning and redirect them to the appropriate content based on the parameters you set. So one example we like to give is with restaurants. Usually restaurants have a different menu in the evening versus their lunch menu during the day. And rather than physically swapping out codes, on your tables or on your menus, you can just have that code automatically redirect the customer. And there are endless opportunities on how you can apply this. And in the future, we're hoping to launch something with geolocation, so that depending on where you are in the world, this is especially interesting for those in the consumer packaged good industry. If somebody is in the grocery store in California scanning your code and in New York, maybe you want to send them to a different recipe or different locations for them to be able to shop and replenish your product. So just keep in mind that this is continuing to develop. And then next, this will answer the API question that was in the chat, and we can talk a little bit about it more afterwards. But there's two ways that you can create multiple flow codes with Flowcode. And one is through our self-service tool, which is the Make Many Flow Codes or bulk creation tool. And this is directly in the platform. It's a really easy 3-step process. You download a CSV template, you fill out your code's name in the first column, where you want those codes to scan to, and then our template will our platform will push out up to 1,000 flow codes at one time for you with the same design, and they'll be unique and trackable. But we know that especially with direct mail campaigns, I mean, a lot of people are looking to print out tens, thousands, and millions of flow codes at one time. And we do have an API, and we can absolutely share that documentation with you. That documentation is actually available to the public. So if you do look up Flowcode API, it will come up as well. But this really is meant to save you time and measure media effectiveness as well. So a lot of people are always asking, why do I need more than one? It is to your benefit to have more than one on your marketing so that you can measure the effectiveness of all of your investments. And then CRM, or the customer relationship management that Corinne and I mentioned earlier. Again, this is currently available with Flowpage, but we do have a few integrations that we partner with right now, including Salesforce, Zapier, HubSpot, Klaviyo, and MailChimp. So depending on what plan you're on, we'll unlock those integrations. But what this means is that when a customer inputs their information into your flow page, that information can actually feed in automatically into your email workflow, into your CRM, and you don't have to manually export if you do use one of these partners. But if you don't use these partners, you can absolutely do it's a manual export. It's a 2-click process. You just kind of download a CSV and upload it to your CRM, really quick and painless as well. And people love this feature, and I can understand why. I think there aren't many opportunities right now to collect first-party information. So this is your opportunity to do so. And then we talk a lot about data and analytics throughout this presentation. I don't know if you noticed, but I think data is at the heart of Flowcode. At the end of the day, we are a technology company, but we do offer a lot in terms of real-time reporting. So again, all dependent on your plan, but what we starting with kind of what we do collect from the user and how it informs the data is, number one, we collect IP address, which can help us identify the geolocation of a user. And with some of our higher enterprise plans, you can even have an opt-in functionality to get GPS location of a user, which is really, really kind of insane, a new technology that we've never had before. We can get a user's device type, we can get the time that a scan is happening, and also the day that the scan is happening. So you can see what days of the week are the most popular for your content, or maybe if you have it in store, you can see what dates and times are driving the most in-store traffic as well. Another note on data here is, if you're more data centric, we do offer conversion pixel data with our enterprise plans as well. So you can now even track, this is the first technology, this is the first time this technology has ever been available, and really proud to work here for this technology that we've launched. But basically, when someone scans a flow code, you can now track whether or not they've made a transaction on your site as a result of the flow code. And this has never existed before. So this is something that, if, again, data and analytics is super important to you, something to definitely dive deep into. And
very, very exciting about the conversion pixel. There's been a lot of buzz internally about it. So excited to actually have it released for the enterprise users.
Love it. And then what this slide really is meant to do is just kind of wraps up everything. And so no matter what plan you're on, we do not cap how many scans your flow codes get. I can't speak for competitors. I do know that some do cap the scan limit. We do not do that. We want you to get scans. We want you to get your code out into the world. Encourage your friends to scan your code. I mean, there's a lot of best practices when it comes to printing out a code too, that will help you generate scans, like a strong call to action, a strong design. And that leads to custom code design. So I know there was a question on this, and yes, we have a team of designers. They will custom design a code for you, but you can also go into our platform and design a code yourself. We've got pre-made templates that our designers drop in for you every season as well. So the custom code is just a really nice elevated way to fit your marketing perfectly. And the reason why we have a designer doing this is because there's a lot of technicalities with QR codes and how they scan and with color that unfortunately modern technology today cannot accommodate at the self-service level, but we will get there. But that is why. So just keep that in mind. The custom code is available from Pro to Enterprise, and it is really a great way to just take your code to the next level.
Georgette,
Flowpage,
and
yep.
adding on to that, if you have a free plan or you already used your custom code for your Pro through Enterprise plans, you can buy an additional one for $50. And that cost just goes for the time it takes our design team to create and test it to make sure that it is scannable and to work with you to make sure that it's the code that you want. So again, you can purchase that at any level, but they do a great job, I must say. I've seen some amazing codes done by our design team.
Definitely. Definitely. Honestly, I love all the codes. I've
I
requested
know.
codes myself, my parents, like it's really awesome. Flow pages we talked a lot about. So again, it's included with all the plans. Definitely play around with it. A lot of people also will be like, well, I already have a website and I don't want another thing to manage. But when you have a campaign, that is when Flowpage is really handy because you can brand that page to your to your campaign. And now the customer is just laser focused on the products that you're selling for that campaign. And when the campaign is over, you could send them back to your website. And it's, again, also collecting that first party data from that page is awesome. And then, of course, behind every single flow code and flow page, there is a human being behind the screen. We are a United States-based company, but we service customers and clients all over the world, which is really, really awesome. And we've learned from these clients. So there's probably there's no question that we can't answer at this point. I think we've gotten it all, myself and Corinne and our success team as well. So yeah, just note that we are here for you to give you best practices, tips, tricks, and helpful resources. And of course, answer your Q&A at the end of this as well. And Corinne, do you want to talk a little bit about Flow Tag?
Yeah, I know we're over time, so I'm just going to breeze through this.
Yeah.
But Flow Tag is one of the products that we offer in our print store. It's essentially an adhesive that goes to the back of your phone. I have mine right here, but it's an alternative to a business card. So you might not always have your business cards on you. People throw them out, lose track of them, but this Flow Tag allows you to network on the go constantly. You always have your phone on you. My brother even has his on his wallet. You can put it on anything, but it essentially can scan to your flow page. It can scan to automatically download your contact information. So you are in charge of where it goes. Again, it'll first have you sign up and link it to a flow page, but again, you can change that in your dashboard. So you can have it go to show people a place where they can connect with you on LinkedIn, where they can schedule a calendar meeting with you. So really allows you to, again, create that cohesive post-scan experience. As we mentioned, you can have a custom flow tag. So you can see there's a first one right here, so that it aligns with your brand, your company. You can order that custom design that you get from our in-house design team. And again, brand that flow page, again, aligned with your business or your company. And then lastly, our print store, which is actually in the works with our template store. And the template store just allows you to add your code to a flyer, a poster, different assets, and customize it to an insane level. We are updating that experience right now. So if you're interested in being a beta user for it, let us know. We'll sign you up just to get first eyes on it and give us feedback. But again, it allows you to create your own flyer, and it's right in the dashboard. So you can seamlessly add your codes to it, which is great. And the plan discount. So with Pro, you get 20% off that print store, and then Pro Plus and above get 30% off. So you can see here just some examples. We have table tents, stickers, A-frames, window clings, We have so many different options in the print store, but always just remember that you don't have to work with us, but just getting your code out into the world is crucial to making sure you're successful and people can engage with it. So with that, we'll get into the Q&A. I see that someone asked, can buy something with a code? So I'm assuming then that means, can you buy something with a code? And the short answer is yes. You can always have that code scanned to a purchasing flow. Currently, we don't have it set up yet, but we are introducing a Shopify integration that's coming next year, which is very exciting. A little teaser there, but it'll allow you to essentially use Flowpage to host your products so people can actually check out there. But if you have your own website or a storefront set up somewhere, you can just link the code there so people can actually just go through the checkout process there. Next, can you talk about custom designs? Those are pretty cool. Is that something your designers need to do? Or can we use a design program like Canva? So Georgette did call out custom designs, but one thing to mention is that using Canva can get challenging. The codes need to be created in our platform so that you can actually manage them. So just keep in mind that you can use our auto design tool, you can use our generator or pre-made templates, or even that custom design that we showed and talked about. But again, just make sure that you're making it in the Flowcode dashboard so that you can update its scan destination and manage it when you need to. And then Georgette did talk about the API. So we don't have a webinar or YouTube overview, I don't think, but she did mention we do have blogs that discuss it. If you're interested in talking to one of our API experts as well, we'll send a follow-up and you can respond to that, just asking if our team can connect you. And we'd be more than happy to, because we are not tech experts, so we will pass it off to those who know more about it. And feel free to drop in any other questions that you have. But as a thank you, feel free to scan this code. It'll bring you to a flow page so you can see what one looks like, how you can customize them, but you'll be able to submit for a chance to receive a $50 Starbucks gift card as a thank you for attending and staying to the end. You can also enjoy a free 1-month trial of Flowcode Pro with the code Flowcodes 13 days. Or you can just click on that link and it'll automatically apply the code. You can also join our Facebook Flowcode community. This will allow you to connect and collaborate with other users and continue your Flowcode journey. So it doesn't stop here. You can also submit a creator spotlight form for a chance to be featured in our newsletter or blog. We'll send that out to all of our users so you can showcase your brand and also how you're leveraging Flowcode and or Flowpage. So we'll leave this up for another minute or two, but really want to say thank you from the entire team at Flowcode for just being champion users and for being engaged. We want to make sure you're as successful as possible. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to support@flowcode.com. Always happy to help. And remember, there is a human behind every Flowcode. So Georgette, do you have anything else to add as we wrap up?
I was just unmuting. All I have to say is thank you, and everybody have a happy and healthy holiday season. And yeah, and please join us in the new year for webinars. I love that we got an API question for a webinar. I think that's really just did the work for us in terms of brainstorming. Oh, thank you so much. Somebody said, thanks, ladies. Cheers. Cheers to you guys. And thanks so much for championing our product and helping us make it better every day. As well. So happy holidays, everyone.
Have a great holiday. And again, can't wait to see you in the new year. Bye.